welcome back. The 80s were responsible for some of the best kids' movies of all time.
There's The Goonies, E.T., I'm ready to go, and of course, NeverEnding Story. I was having a memory time.
Suddenly something enormous crashed and rumbled through the eerie woods.
A dreamy young boy discovers an extraordinary storybook and the fantastical world within its pages.
He who wears the orange speaks for the Empress.
But all is not well. The childlike Empress who rules Fantasia has fallen ill, and the young warrior Atreyu is tasked to discover a cure. Before the nothing, a dark force devours the magical land.
Don't start to doubt yourself. Be confident.
Be confident. Be confident.
The NeverEnding Story remains a fan favourite even after all these years.
I have failed you, Empress.
No, you haven't.
And the Empress is all grown up, and Tami Stronach joins us now from New York City. Tami, next month is 39 years since the release. Wow. You look the same. Just put a little head thing on and you're good to go. What do you remember about that experience?
Thank you. Say that the question again?
What do you remember about the experience of filming it?
Oh, so, the thing that really strikes me that I remember is how much time it took to create the look for the Empress. It was weeks of dressing up and putting on different makeup and putting different hairstyles together and different headpieces. And it was really a very long process. And now, having sort of lived longer and producing myself, I'm just amazed at how much detail and care and time each thing was given. And I think that's why it has the sticking power it does.
Is it true that you almost weren't cast in the role because they didn't think you were, quote, they didn't think you were Empress-like enough? Is that the story?
Yes, they were quite right. I came to the audition really not knowing what I was auditioning for. And I was in a theater company that was traveling around to local schools and doing Winnie the Pooh. And my role was Piglet. And I came to the audition right after one of those shows and I had pig makeup on. So you're supposed to dress the part, they say. Yeah. So I'd be very fair. They asked if I could come back and audition again and, perhaps remove the pig makeup.
Well, now I understand. You were the perfect Empress, but I get the pig was standing in the way.
We look at movies like this now and it would be full of CGI, but those days it was practical special effects. It was in the 80s, it's on sets. And the other thing I think is different now too is that movies back then, like this, The Goonies, they weren't shying away from scaring kids to actually make sure that these things could actually not be traumatic, but actually give them real fears. So that's why my kids haven't watched NeverEnding Story yet, because we're like, oh, will it scare them too much? Do you find that other parents have that issue?
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting question. What's an appropriate age to share things with kids? And I think it really depends on the individual child. But I love the fact that the film has some dark themes and some real meat to chew on as a kid. I feel like there's something, it has more sticking power, more gravitas, and I think kids can kind of sense when things are dumbed down for them. And they're smart. They want to go on a real journey and have real emotions. But, at the right time, I waited until my daughter was 8. Because I didn't want to traumatize her. So I think you need to balance it.
What did she think of the film? Did she enjoy it?
She did. I just have the cutest video of her when the Empress is saying, "Say my name," and she's just screaming on the mattress, "Say it! Why don't you just say it?" It's so funny.
So invested. Hey, I know you took some time out to focus on your dancing career for years, but you've got some good news for us about a return to the screen. You've got something in the works.
I do. I'm retiring from dance, and it's always been a dream of mine to get back into acting, and I wasn't really sure how that might happen, but we just decided to make it happen. And my husband wrote the screenplay. We're both starring in it and producing it. And we have a new film coming out. It's an independent fantasy film called Man and Witch. And it's very much built on these kind of celebrating these 80s movies that I loved so much, and celebrating being in like real locations. We were in Scotland at real castles, and we had the Jim Henson Creature Shop make puppets for us, again, sort of hearkening back to my time in the NeverEnding Story. And just exciting cast members like Christopher Lloyd, who you see there, and Michael Emerson, and just some great 80s icons. Sean Astin is actually voicing our dog puppet. So it's just a really exciting way to kind of revisit that 80s movie magic, and this time, you know, producing it as well as acting in it.
Well, my kids are 8. Sounds like from your lips they are ready for the NeverEnding Story. We are good to go. So, Tami, thank you so much
Thanks,
for
Tami.
coming on the show. We love it to have you on. Thank you so much. Still ahead, lip sync sensation.